Hey, everybody, welcome. This is the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show from State College's Quaker Steak and Lube. A great place to come, enjoy sports, hang out with friends, watch TV, enjoy delicious wings, and drink cold beer. Right now, I can't endorse the sports that are on the TV because they're showing the Eagles' Super Bowl 39 loss to the New England Patriots. Not my favorite. Patriots-Eagles Super Bowl by a long shot. Obviously, the Goon and Ironhead are not here. They are both on assignment today. So you got the ringers, both of us, Chris Piccanani and campus legend, Mike the Mailman.
Hey, thanks for having me back. This is great.
It's always a pleasure, Mike.
Oh, thank you.
I like when we can do an obligatory takeover of the show every once in a while, right?
Sure. This is fun.
So fun stuff. So because I've got Mailman, we will, of course, be talking, as I think we typically find a chance to do, because around this time of year, Goon always has a couple of trips he takes.
Oh, yeah.
Ironhead has traveled with the wrestling team,
right.
Although they're at home tomorrow. Hopefully the weather's going to cooperate. They've got the big match against the Buckeyes in the Jordan Center. But we always find a time to bring you in around this time of year so we can talk Super Bowl prop bets.
Prop bets are always
which
good.
We will do for sure. And before we get there, though, I know you're a huge wrestling fan.
Yeah.
That's maybe your favorite sport, you said?
Yeah.
College wrestling.
Yeah, college. I know Jeff has, I have 40 or 50 years on Jeff, but he really knows this stuff. Although, watching the wrestling match last week.
You sure it's not the other way around?
No, he knows
okay.
more than I. But the match last week with Iowa, good teams and good wrestlers win close matches, and that's what they did last week. I mean, that's how you win matches. You win the close ones, and I think Penn State's so much more in shape than any other team. I rarely see a Penn State guy gas on the mat. It's unbelievable.
First of all, I really haven't had a chance to talk to you about how the wrestling team's been doing too much this year. I was pulling Ironhead's leg after the Michigan match, because I said he had Goon and me both on pins and needles going into that, because you should have heard him the week before talking Michigan up. Like, this is, you can't take these guys for granted. They're peaking at the right time with the injuries to Iowa. I think they are the dark horse to contend with Penn State for the Big Ten and blah, blah, blah.
He got hammered.
Smooth sail. Now, Ironhead did make a good point about the Penn State-Michigan match, and I think it's worth remembering that the final score looked lopsided. Yep. Individual matches, several of them were very close. If one thing goes different in a few of them, that's a much more competitive meet than it turned out to be. And then the Iowa one was, I think, as entertaining as everybody was hoping for, given the fact that it was one of the most hyped matches in years, right?
And the two things I took away from the match, I wish Penn State football players would watch Nick Lee, and just when he wins the match, he walks off. No high five, no shenanigans. Just walk off, expecting to win and win.
Yeah,
just like the football player. And actually, same thing with Max Dean. I mean, I think the funniest thing I heard on that podcast was his brother used to wrestle for Cornell, and he was walking around Iowa with a Penn State shirt, even though Bo Nichols beat him in the finals one year. He was a two-time national champion, one of his third. I think it's great that they really bought into Penn State, which actually that was the most entertaining match of all.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and huge.
That's great.
And to your point, ideally you want to hit the trifecta of expect to win, and then act like you expected to win and don't celebrate. Yeah, the problem with the football team is they only get 2 out of 3, and they miss the most important one.
You're absolutely right.
But there will be plenty of time for us to talk about spring football. It's coming up on us real quickly. Penn State just locked down an excellent class of recruits, even made a late push and added another key offensive lineman on National Signing Day, which is weird. Like, now that they've gone to this 2 National Signing Day model, this one that just passed in February, like, this is not a big deal. There's not a lot of tension. In fact, it's somewhat uncommon to see a big-time school like Penn State make a splash on National Signing Day like we did yesterday. So, again, that was a nice little coup for James, especially because that's quite obviously a position of need.
We've said that for years on our show. But they are the sixth ranked draft. They had this 6th best draft.
5, 6, depending on who you talk to. And I always say if you're in the top 10, you're fine.
Yeah.
Because if you go back historically, and you look at the teams that finished with top 10 and even more so top 5 classes, but top 10 classes, there's a lot of fluctuation and variance from year to year into how that actually played out on the field.
Yeah.
But if you were anywhere in the top 10, you were in good shape.
So if you're a top 5 team, does that mean Penn State's going to finish in the top 5? It doesn't work that way.
Top 5 of the conference, I feel comfortable
I
predicting at this point, Mike. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. But yeah, I mean, look, you build from a base of talent.
Sure.
And the one thing we can feel confident about is that we think we've got a lot of playmakers in this class. And as I bring up every time you and I are together on any media property, you and I sat behind Nick Singleton when he came up to visit for the fake blue-white game. I take 100% of the credit, or I share it 50-50 with you for Singleton coming here, Gatorade National Player of the Year.
Yep.
And I expect to step in and if not start at tailback next season, to play a lot of snaps.
Oh, yeah.
So good stuff with football, good stuff with wrestling. It's a shame, man, given the history of Iowa wrestling, the recent success of Penn State, and this growing animosity between the two fan bases.
Yeah, you're right.
That this kind of peak era for the Hawkeyes has been, stripped away from fans, in that this is the third year where it felt like Penn State versus Iowa was the Titanic clash in the world of college wrestling.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And we only got the dual meet once.
I know.
Because you have goofy Big Ten scheduling, and then you have COVID-19.
Hey, you would think the Big Ten would have those, used to be Penn State always played Michigan, Penn State always played Ohio State in football. You think that there are so many real good teams in a Big Ten wrestling, but the top 3 or 4 should always play one.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too. That actually reminds me of something else I want to get your opinion on in terms of the Big Ten football realignment possibilities. But yeah, just to put a button on wrestling, hardy har, the year where Iowa was absolutely going to walk away with the team title. Yeah. Tournament got canceled because of COVID.
That's right.
Then they won it last year, and I think that they were, no one, and Ironhead said this on Tuesday's show. He's never seen a fan base less happy about a team national title in the sport of wrestling than he was last year when, they won the team title, but Penn State won 4 championships and won every head-to-head matchup with Iowa guys throughout the tournament.
I mean, I don't think any Penn State fan felt badly after the whole tournament because they had the 4 national champions.
I felt like Penn State won the tournament. Yeah. Frankly,
I think Iowa felt that too.
I know. I knew they did, and it was amazing. They won and still felt like they lost, which was absolutely the best to me.
Yep.
And I didn't appreciate then how much I enjoy that now, because I hate that fan base on an entirely different level after the football game this past year.
It starts with the coaches. I'm sorry. The coach that no one likes other than the Iowa people is one of the Brand brothers.
Right. Right.
I don't know. I don't think they're a positive for the sport. They just are crazy. I just wish the referees say just sit down and watch the match. You
need some villains though. I think
right.
Listen. We're talking about wrestling. You need some heels. I want to use the industry term. But since we're talking about the rivalry with Iowa, that gives me a good means to pivot to talking about the proposed. I don't know how much you've seen this proposed realignment possibilities for the Big Ten, both scaling back from 9 conference games to 8, and potentially ditching the divisions. Well, your thoughts?
Most conferences have the divisions, don't they? I mean, I think most of them do.
They do right now. So the one that doesn't is the Big 12.
Yeah.
And I think more conferences are looking at how it has worked out for them and saying, well, maybe we ought to go that direction.
Oh, see, I thought for sure people would say, well, the division seems to work better than, but I guess you got to look at all that stuff. But I don't know. I don't know what that's going to mean.
Okay, well, so I'll talk you through the philosophy of why you get rid of the divisions.
All right.
Because especially now, look, so all of this is going to be opened up and altered when inevitably they expand the playoffs.
Right.
And it's going to be dictated somewhat by the number of teams, which I still think is very much in flux. I think it's going to be no fewer than 8. And I would be surprised if it's more than 12.
So you're saying that this realignment, it has something to do with that in mind?
Well, I think it's the thinking is that eventually the playoffs are going to expand. It might not happen until after the current contract with ESPN and ABC is up.
Right.
Because all of the conferences make an unbelievable amount of money off the playoff.
Yep.
And the thinking is that if you're going to expand the playoffs, you've only got a few years left on the exclusive deal where ABC, ESPN owns the rights to everything.
Yep.
And if you're going to go from 4 games to, let's say, excuse me, 3 games, 4 teams, and you're going to expand that out to 12 teams, then you're going to have a lot more games that you can go to Fox, you can go to back to ESPN, you can talk to like the streamers, like, Amazon, Hulu, whatever, and pit them against each other and bid up the overall value of every contract, break it up a little bit. And so eventually the playoffs are going to expand. But right now you're thinking about a 4-team system, right? So you want to have an approach that is going to help you in the 4-team present and continue to put you in a good position as the playoff expands. The problem with the divisions, as we look at the Big Ten, is that if college football, more than any other sport, your history dictates your future. If you overload one division with historically dominant programs, it's a recipe for failure because you're ultimately going to end up with one division with, as you saw this year, sometimes 3 or 4 of your highest ranked teams.
Were in the one
And the West just ends up being the also ran division where they just keep putting up the sacrificial lamb to get its butt kicked in Indy by the East Division champion. So the way the Big 12 does it is no divisions. They just pit the 2 highest ranked teams in the playoff rankings after the final week of the regular season against one another in the conference championship game. Now, I want to get your opinion on that, but then I've got a follow-up question and see if it changes your thinking. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's probably more equitable to do it that way. Like you said, the Big Ten is overloaded, one side over the other side. It's either Iowa or Wisconsin gets killed by Michigan and Ohio State or somebody. It's like, or even Penn State beat Wisconsin.
Yep.
And I think it looks like that's probably going to be the way to go.
Now, if that system were in place in 2016, Penn State does not get a spot in the Big Ten championship game.
Great, that's great because they never got a spot in the Big Dance either. So
fair, but that was one of the greatest games that really changed the trajectory of the program, at least to some extent.
They wouldn't have had. That's true. Wow.
Does it change your overall thinking on the model though? Because that's one example that works against Penn State in that one situation.
So let me get this correct.
Mm-hmm.
So in that model, the 2 top teams play one another.
Yeah, and Ohio State and Wisconsin were both ranked ahead of Penn State. I think Ohio State was like 4, Wisconsin was 6, and Penn State was 8, or something like that.
But after that, they can still get into the playoffs, can't they? Or can't they?
Well, it's probably in a 4-team playoff. It's unlikely that the odd man out gets in. Yeah,
but as they expand it,
then it becomes less of an issue.
I think they'll probably go with that. I think that's
that's my favorite approach too. I also think it's a smart move to go from 9 down to 8 conference games. Mostly because my view of the the internal gamesmanship of one conference versus another is if the SEC isn't doing something voluntarily, then don't shoot yourself in the foot by doing it yourself. And by going from 8 games to 9, you're guaranteeing an extra loss for 7 teams,
that's right.
which is, again, when you're talking about bowl berths and all this other nonsense.
That's a good point.
There's no reason to do it unless the other conferences do it. And if you take the lead, just kind of like we did with canceling the season, you jump in and nobody else follows, then you've just put yourself at a disadvantage for no good reason.
You're right. And I like seeing Penn State play the MAC conference teams. I love Akron.
Actually, I do. I think it's fun. I think that the MAC teams are they serve their purpose for sure.
I like
it. You got to have a couple of tune-up games in a 12-game schedule. I think you got to get some of those W's in there. Let them get that check that pays for their athletic department.
So they'll have 4 games out of the Big Ten.
Yes.
Wow,
and so the thinking is that will free up some room for this alliance of conferences to start scheduling crossover games.
Oh, yeah.
So you can see ACC, Pac-12, and Big Ten teams just kind of cycle through, which I think would be fun.
Oh, yeah. I think, fan-wise, I think it'd be fun because fans would like to go to these different places. I think. Now, my wish would be that it was always done as home and homes. Yeah.
I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think they're going to be one-offs. I think you're going to see neutral fields, all that stuff that I hate and the conferences love, because it's easy money.
Yeah.
But to me, the venues are such a huge part of what makes college football great. Yeah. I would love to play Colorado and then go out to Colorado, right?
I like playing games at a campus, college campus. I don't like the neutral sites. It's much more fun, much more, you learn so much more about the school, about the surroundings. I think it's
the environment too. It's unbeatable.
Yeah, you're right.
The homogenous atmosphere of an NFL stadium, to me, is the worst. It reminds me of when we played Indiana at the Washington field in 2010. That's right. Oh, absolute garbage. Just terrible atmosphere. And speaking of which, what do you think about the Commanders?
We'll see what happens. I mean, it's good for shirt sales and whatever.
I don't know if it's good for shirt sales, frankly.
I have no clue.
The team formerly known as the Redskins fans, I know, are not enthusiastic about the name.
They keep the colors and everything?
They did keep the colors. Okay. Yeah. Now, look, if they can somehow figure out how to right the ship there and start winning, people aren't going to care what the team is called.
That's correct. That's
probably. I think it's not a great name. It's a little bit silly. In my mind, as an Eagles fan, I do feel like, Mike, our division is home to the 3 biggest clown car organizations in football, and I'm pleased to report that the Eagles aren't one of them. Right. But how you miss the opportunity to make the team the Red Hogs, I don't know.
How could they miss that?
There may have been like some kind of copyright issues. There were 2 options that I thought were the best. The Red Tails, which was the nickname of the all-black fighter squadron in World War II. There was a movie made about them. And, I thought that fit 2 things. Like, you're replacing this kind of like quasi-racist team nickname with one that actually honors like Black Americans. And they're going for kind of a Washington, D.C. military feel with Commanders. You could harken back to the armed forces. I thought that would have been a good one.
Yeah.
And then, same thing, Red Hogs. You keep the red, you go to the history of the team. It's just kind of a fun name. You could have done some cool things with your mascot if you're the Red Hogs. And to me, no small thing. Either one of those names, you don't have to mess with the fight song.
No.
Hail to the Red Hogs, right?
Gotta love it.
Hail to the Red Tails.
Why did they contact you to ask you about this?
I wouldn't have helped Dan Snyder. I wouldn't have shared my opinions with him. But don't you think that Washington is probably, I would think, probably secondary only to the Eagles, most associated with this fight song of any NFL team?
Oh, you're probably right. Yeah.
Maybe the Bears have a good one too, but I would put the Eagles are probably number 1.
I think.
And then I would put Washington number 2.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Anyway, so Commanders. Yeah, I don't know. Last question I have for you though about possible college football realignment. Because Goon and I talked about this. I want to get your opinion. So we get rid of the divisions, theoretically, right?
Yep.
And let's say we go to an 8-game format, and we say we're going to have 5 round-robin games and 3 protected crossovers. So you're going to play 3 teams every year.
Yep.
Your 3 are, if you could pick 3 Big Ten opponents. If you say Rutgers, you're thrown off the show.
No,
Okay.
I like. So you have to play 3 every year.
Yes, these would be ones who would never rotate off the schedule.
I always like them playing Wisconsin.
Yeah,
I always
all
liked
right.
Wisconsin.
Man after my heart, Mike. You and me both.
I mean, there won't be a okay. I like Wisconsin, Ohio State because they're close.
Mhm.
And I don't know Michigan or Iowa. Doesn't matter.
So, yeah, look, I'm glad you said it that way because I think everyone is going to want Michigan, Ohio State, and probably their historic rival, whoever that is, because there are those all these trophy games. They're going to want to keep those in place. Yep. You can't have everyone guaranteed to play Michigan and Ohio State every year. Yep. So if Penn State is probably going to have to pick, right?
Yep. Oh yeah.
And I would rather play Ohio State every year just because, like you said, the history and the proximity there.
Yeah.
Although strategically, I brought this up to Goon when we talked about it. Maybe you don't want to play Ohio State every year because they usually kick our ass and they usually kick everyone's ass. But maybe you want to miss them every once in a while.
We'll meet him in the final weekend.
right. Exactly. Yeah, at least put it off.
Yeah.
See him in the Big Ten championship game.
But I always feel that Wisconsin's their program's sort of like, like the Penn State. As a matter of fact, didn't they just hire a former Penn State?
Bobby Ingram. Yeah, breaks my heart.
And his son goes to Wisconsin?
Yep.
How's that possible? Unbelievable.
Don't get me started.
I know. I'm sorry.
Do not get me started. But yeah. No, all right. I'm with it. So I think you could maybe pull that off too. I think you could do Wisconsin, Ohio State, Iowa. That would be a fun trio of protected games. Yep. The only thing is I think for sure Michigan State gets put in that mix for Penn State.
Oh, because of the land grant.
I mean they have been trying for so long to make that a thing. Like they're not going to give it up now. So anyway, good stuff.
So I did hear that if you lose the game, you get the trophy. Is that how? That's the only.
I wish I wish they would make it that way. They should just lean into it.
Oh, yeah. Anyway,
especially in the age of social media.
Oh yeah.
Think of how great it would be of all the content you would generate from the other team.
Would actually, you're right.
Like forcing the vanquished opponent to get stuck with the land grant trophy. It would be great. It would be great. I normally I kind of jokingly say stuff like that. But I am 100% serious.
It's supposed to be fun. The sports is supposed to be fun. This adds to it.
You took the words right out of my mouth. It's supposed to be fun.
It's supposed to be.
And that would be fun as hell. All right. Chris Bucanani, Mike the Mailman, filling in for Jeff Ironhead Byers and Keith the Goon Conlon. This is the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show coming to you live from State College's Quaker Steak and Lube. We're going to talk Super Bowl prop bets when we come back on the other side of the break, so stay with us.
The leap of faith. Some hesitate, but not you. You don't ask what if. You embrace what's next with open arms. You don't question your decision. You double down. Because you know the thrill is worth it. Introducing the 2022 Telluride Nightfall Edition.
There's always something happening at Quaker Steak and Lube. From live music to exciting new flavors, meet your friends and refuel at your local Quaker Steak and Lube today. Can't slow down? Then order online. Pick up and get back on the road. Find us at thelube.com.
Hi, Johnny Broom here. If you're in the market for a new Hyundai or a pre-owned car, truck, van, or SUV, nobody beats a Blaze Alexander deal. But don't take my word for it.
Hey, Goon says tell him Johnny sent you.
Hey, tell him Johnny sent ya.
Tell him Johnny sent you.
Wait, tell him Juan or tell him Johnny sent you?
Tell him Johnny sent you.
Here at Bill Pickles Tap Room, we say, tell him Johnny sent you. And remember, tell him Johnny sent you.
I feel like crazy.
Hey, we are back. It's a Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show. We're not Goon and Ironhead. Bucanani, Mailman
Mike the Mailman right
from the
here.
obligatory PSU pregame show. This is what we do in the off season. We hang out at Quaker Steak and Lube.
It's a good place.
We drink some beer or root beer. Mike's having a root beer. That's all good, which is they're branded root beer here at the Lube. We eat some wings. We're both enjoying the Arizona Ranch Boneless today.
Really good.
And we talked Penn State wrestling, Penn State football, a little recruiting, a little divisional alignment. By the way, real quickly, Penn State basketball is a uphill climb both ways. In January, in molasses and 6 feet of snow.
But the basketball team must have watched the Iowa wrestling match because they went out and beat Iowa.
They sure did.
Was it really? I thought with a better team. We know that Penn State doesn't have the talent yet that a lot of the Big Ten schools have.
But they're playing hard.
They are playing. I wouldn't want to play against them. I think they're just a scrappy bunch of guys, and they have nothing to lose, so they go after it. I really enjoy them.
Yep. Can you get maximum effort out of guys with less talent, especially as the season goes on and it becomes clear they maybe don't have a whole lot to play for other than pride? And if you can do that and you recruit well, it bodes well for what's going to happen once you get the talent on campus, which Micah Shrewsbury has been doing so far.
Micah said he has a really good recruiting class, and that's
as far as like the recruiting services go, it's the best in Penn State history.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, steps in the right direction. One of my friends was asking me the other day if the enthusiasm around the ice hockey team is still what it was in the first several years. And I said, I think the new car smell is definitely gone, right? Like a little bit of the novelty has worn off, but the area is just such a good market for hockey fandom because you're drawing so evenly from Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. Pittsburgh obviously has the Penguins, is a great hockey market. In the vague corners of my memory, I can recall a time when the Flyers organization was relevant. You may find it hard to believe, but that was in fact the case. A lot of great hockey fans in both sides of the state. And so you mix that with traditional Big Ten rivalries, and you're never going to drop below a baseline of pretty enthusiastic fan base.
In fact, I went to a couple weekends ago. I went to the Notre Dame game, but both ice hockey games, and Penn State lost them both, but they were both great hockey games. To me, it's not about winning or losing. It's the show. They look good.
Sorry.
I thought
he's like this all the time. I don't know what to tell you.
Funny thing, I thought I'd go to see a shootout with 0.2 seconds in overtime.
Oh, God, don't even talk about it. Do not even talk about it, Mike. Gut wrenching.
Great game. But you can't win every game in every sport.
So moving on to the NFL playoffs.
Yeah.
I know that you're not big into playing the postseason games.
That's correct.
In the NFL,
there's a few choices, not as many choices as a whole season, college or pro. Yeah.
But you've been enjoying as just a purely disinterested viewer.
Yeah, it's fun watching these games that aren't Penn State, with Penn State being involved with Penn State, because you just relax and watch the game. I like this idea.
I told Goon, and I am 100% serious about this. I have some friends who are die-hard, lifelong Buffalo Bills fans. I mean, my old roommate whose nickname is Buffalo because he was born and raised in Orchard Park and moved back there after college at Penn State, as died in the wool as you're going to get. Yeah. And so I think I emotionally feel the pain of these types of losses more than maybe the average fan does, just because, number one, as an Eagles fan, I have two things going on. I'm an empathetic person. Mike, you know this about me. I understand the plight of the downtrodden fan base. Mm-hmm. And now that we're out on the other side, man, now that we got 52 forever, I have survivor's guilt when my friends who are fellow travelers in downtrodden teams don't get their moment. Yep. Right. And so I am just rooting so hard for so many reasons, because of my friends, just because I think it's a great town with incredible fans. The Pagula connection with Penn State and Buffalo. There's so many reasons to, if you're not you're not an AFC East fan, there are reasons to root for the Bills. So I am pulling for them. The agony of the way that game ended.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine being a Buffalo fan.
I got PTSD just thinking about it. Crushing.
I know.
Crushing. So I'm rooting for him. But I feel like we got a good, exciting matchup.
Oh yeah.
Like interesting, right? Different teams. I don't especially hate either one of them. I'm with Goon. Not a big Sean McVay guy.
Yeah.
There are a couple guys on their team I don't like as much, but it's counteracted by the fact that I like Matt Stafford. I like Aaron Donald, even though he's a pit guy. Nobody's perfect.
Yep.
Grant Haley and Nick Scott both played for the Rams. Love those guys. Probably two of my favorite Indy Lions in the last 20 years.
Yep.
Would love to see them get rings.
Yep.
And you want to talk about downtrodden fan bases. Again, you're not. I know there are a ton of Steelers fans in the audience. NFC North hate. I get it. I'm just telling you, if you are a disinterested fan, so like you're in an NFC team, you're looking at the Bengals and you're like, those fans have just suffered absolute shame, embarrassment, agony for decades.
Yep.
Yeah, it'd be nice. It would be nice to see them.
Oh yeah.
On top of the pile for once, I guess.
They call them small market teams. I think Cincinnati is.
Yes, indeed.
As compared to LA,
right?
It's like,
but I will tell you, there will be way, way, way more, exponentially more emotionally invested fans for the Bengals than the Rams. Nobody out there cares.
No one pays attention out there.
It is weird, right, that we went 54 years without a team securing home field advantage in the Super Bowl. Now, they used to play it in like the Rose Bowl and like kind of neutral sites, but they've been playing it in NFL stadiums for a long time. That's never worked out. I remember. Do you remember when Jimmy Johnson went to the Dolphins?
That's right.
And the Super Bowl was in Miami. That was the big thing, the push for them to get home field advantage. Well, that's 25 years ago now.
Yeah.
And they've been talking about it for this long, never happened, and then now we've had it in back-to-back years.
Yeah, but I don't see that as a big advantage to the home team. I just don't.
No, because most of the crowd is not fans.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a big show.
It's like corporate, political donors, all those kind of things. They don't care. They just want to say they were at the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
like seats for that game are going for like $23,000, which to me. That's ludicrous. In fact, and I will say this again, going back to Super Bowl 52, advice for the Bengals fans. Rams, whatever. That franchise has been a vagabond.
Yep.
They have won a title in the last 25 years. They've been to 4 Super Bowls now.
Yep.
And in 2 different cities. Right. And so, whatever. Rams. I don't, but Bengals fans, I'm with you, and I will say that I knew some people who went out to Minneapolis to be in the stadium and see the game, and number one, I was never going to pay those ticket prices.
Oh no!
But even if I were Elon Musk, there is nowhere on earth I would have been, other than when I could get from a TV to Broad Street within 3 minutes of the score-going final. Because if you are part of one of these fan bases that has just been kicked around by the world for the entirety of your life, and you finally get that one magical moment when you get over, you want to be with your tribe, man. There is no other place on earth that you want to be. So if there's any Bengals fans out there in the audience or anyone who knows Bengals fans and they're thinking about spending the astronomical fees, mortgaging their house, God knows what, selling the boat. Maybe they should sell the boat, but not to buy Super Bowl tickets.
Yeah.
Just go to downtown Cincinnati and be there if it happens to run out and celebrate in the streets.
Should be interesting. Should be a good game. I think it's a good matchup. Although there's two mixed. I like Stafford too. I like the quarterback. He was with Detroit for so long, and he did so well, but the team never. I feel good for him, but then, like you said, I like the Bengals too. It's a tough call. I'll just sit there and watch and enjoy it and see what happens.
It also, to me, is indicative of the way college football is changing. That you have 2 SEC quarterbacks in the Super Bowl again.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you go back to when you had Peyton Manning versus Cam Newton.
That's right. Wow.
Like that doesn't happen that often.
No, you're right. That's
because the SEC, for all of its dominance, has not typically been a quarterbacks conference.
Right.
And so to have Burrow and Stafford going up against each other, it's some different players. It's an interesting angle in my mind. Goon is one of the few people on earth who can speak this, what I consider to be sacrilege, and get away with it. But he said he thinks that 2019 LSU offense was better than 94 Penn State. You buying that?
No.
Yeah, no, me neither.
No.
He's on crack. But he's just being modest, I suppose.
Yeah.
But to me, it is a very cool story.
Oh, yeah.
That you have the Burrow to Chase connection for the college title, and then here they are within 2 years of getting to the league. And they're in the Super Bowl together. I think that's awesome.
And Joe seems really calm out there. I mean, he doesn't panic. He's really he's on top of it. I mean, he doesn't. They were down by like 18 points or something. And he
no big deal.
Yeah, he just didn't fuss about it, and he knew they had to turn it around, and they did. It's unbelievable.
What do you think about some of these Ohio State fans trying to claim him as the first Ohio State quarterback to go to the Super Bowl?
Why does that surprise you?
It doesn't surprise me at all. It's pathetic, though, isn't it?
Pathetic. Yeah, it's so pathetic.
Look, here, let me put it this way. Did it ever even occur to you, Mike the Mailman, to claim the Giants' second Super Bowl title as won by a Penn State quarterback because it was Jeff Hostetler? Did that even occur to you?
Never.
In fact, I just came up with that right now. That notion never entered my head.
Wow.
And the fact that some of these Ohio State fans, who, to be fair, their school has produced like just a litany of historically underwhelming NFL quarterbacks.
Yes, they have. Yep.
Justin Fields maybe has a chance to break the jinx. But as we sit here today, it remains true now as it ever was that Mike Tomczak is the most successful Ohio State alum at playing quarterback in the NFL of my lifetime.
Wow.
And before.
Mike Tomczak. Wow, I haven't heard that name for a long time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's no reason that you should have. That tells you everything you need to know about Buckeye quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
So Joe Burrow's not an Ohio State quarterback. He's not an LSU quarterback. Like I said, two SEC guys. Yeah. So we'll talk some prop bets here. I'm going to zip through them from a couple of different sites. I'm going to start here with Bleacher Reports. And Mike, did you get into these? Did you do these prop bets?
Oh, yeah, that's fun. Yeah, sure.
What are some of your favorites?
Well, my first one is obviously the national anthem because that's first. And they always have an over and under. Usually like a minute and 20 seconds or something.
Do you want to go right to that? You want to
sure,
that?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So we'll talk more about other ones, but we got since we're talking national anthem.
First of all, you have to find out who's singing. That's important.
Okay.
Got to handicap the singer.
So I've got the name of the singer, and I've got a little intel for you. I am like the worst focus group. I've totally turned into my mom and dad when it comes to music, popular music.
Okay.
I know practically no one. And the only names I know are because of my daughter.
Okay.
And I most of the time I couldn't tell you like their most popular song could be playing. I'd know the song. I would know the name of the artist if you told me. I couldn't put them together to save my life. Okay. So the national anthem singer for the Super Bowl this year is Mickey Guyton. I don't know who that is. In fact, I confirmed that it is a female only as I went to the website.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no idea who that is. But she is singing the Star Spangled Banner.
Okay.
The over-under is 95 seconds. So a minute and 35. And before I give you any more information, you want to tell me where you'd be?
Right now, I like the over.
You like the over?
I like the over.
95 seconds.
Yep.
Over 95 seconds. Yep. Okay, tell me if this sways you. So, okay, here's a little background on Ms. Guyton. She's a country music artist. Okay, that's another strike against you. I had no way I was going to know who this person was. But has been nominated for multiple Grammy Awards, so good for her. Yep. Her album, Remember Her Name, is nominated for Best Album in 2022. Wow. So if you know about popular music and you like country music, neither of which describes me, you probably know who this person is.
Yeah.
And she seems to be having a lot of success. She's singing the national anthem at the Super Bowl, and in 2 recorded performances of Guyton performing the national anthem, this is according to covers.com, she has come in at less than 1 minute and 30 seconds both times, putting her almost a half minute under the average anthem length for past Super Bowls. So see, your initial impulse to take the over on the 95 seconds, totally backed up historically by the generic Super Bowl national anthem. Now this person's done it twice and she's been under both times. What do you think?
Well, traditionally they do go over traditionally in the Super Bowl, but given that statistic, it's I'd probably have to go with the under.
Now, again, this is all for fun. Gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
That's right.
If you've seen Mike's Trends to Treasure PSA, which everybody loves, by the way, you telling people to call 1-800-GAMBLER.
That's right.
If you or someone you know or love has a gambling problem. So it says here on Memorial Day 2021, Mickey Guyton sang the Star-Spangled Banner in 1 minute and 25 seconds from a Memorial Day concert. Totally different scenario there, though, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
I think you're going to ham it up a little bit more in the
I
big
think
stage.
you do, but you still want
10 seconds though, man. Because you got to go. You got to draw that out 11 more seconds. I don't know.
We'll go with the under, which is
so you're trending under,
which is unusual because usually, 9 of the last 10 years, I think we've taken the over and we've won in that. We won on the over, and also we won on the coin flip. Also, we've won in that.
Okay, so that's my next question. What do you think about it? We're more focused on coin flips this year than we've been since they screwed it up for the Lions-Steelers game on Thanksgiving Day. No, people haven't thought about the coin flip so much.
Tails come up a lot. So
Tails never fails. That's what you're thinking?
I love it.
Okay. So you, Mike the Mailman, right now. Now we're, over a week out from the game. But you are feeling the under on the 95-second national anthem, and Tails is your bet on the coin flip. Any other favorite prop bets?
I like the total in the game too. That's probably is that a prop bet?
I mean, it's a little bit more traditional. Let's get to that. Okay, so first of all, the Rams are 4.5-point favorites. Your thoughts?
I don't. Either way, I don't like either side of that. I like the under in the total.
Okay, so you don't like that line at all.
No.
Why is that?
I think the Rams. I mean, if I were to take that, I think I would probably take the Rams at 4.5.
Okay.
I think their defense is a little bit better, although.
Yeah. I mean, the matchup on paper. LA's defensive line.
Yeah. That's true.
Versus that O-line that let Burrow get absolutely mauled 2 weeks ago.
I'm surprised that the line's so low. And that scares me that it's so low. That's the key. It's, a lot of times you don't want to jump in on that stuff, but this time I think the defense makes a difference there. And I think, like you said, the 9 sacks, you cannot ignore that.
And that was against a defensive line that is definitely less imposing than the one in LA. And it's interesting, right? Like, you can't project from week to week, because when Goon and I did the show, I was filling in for Ironhead, we thought, oh man, like playing in Arrowhead, that Cincy line that was just absolutely getting caved in, Burrow's just not gonna have any time back there. Cincy, Chris Jones, they are going to absolutely, or KC, Chris Jones, they're going to absolutely wreak havoc. Didn't happen. Same deal until the very last play, meaningful play of the game. I thought San Francisco's offensive line did about as good a job versus the front four of the Rams as you're going to get.
They did. They certainly did.
Here's a deep cut for you, Mike. It's not exactly the fearsome foursome of the Penn State alum Rosie Greer days, but still like a great defensive front. Yeah. Total on the game is 48.5.
I like the under.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I like the under. I think that, like I said, the defenses will control the game, and anymore
Considering the last time Sean McVay and the Rams got to the Super Bowl, granted with Jared Goff as quarterback, they scored 3 points. That seems like, yeah.
Okay.
That actually seems like that's just. It might have been 6. I don't know. It was not a lot. I think they finished with 6.
Oh.
Anyway, they stunk.
Wow. But it's fun. I mean, it's kind of game you can enjoy.
If Sean McVay was not a genius, they probably would have gotten shut out.
Yeah, probably. He's a good guy. I like him.
Yeah, I'm not a fan, but I know he's a lot of fans out there who like him. I ain't one of them. Okay, so Mike the Mailman, gun to his head. He's got the Rams -4.5. He likes the under on the 48.5.
And we like the under on the singing and the
under
tail.
on the singing and the tails.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're keeping track. Okay, so now I'm going to give you just some of these other like crazy prop bets, and you can just tell me what you're feeling.
Okay.
All right, so this one I got. This is from BleacherReport.com. Cooper Kupp to have a 50-plus yard touchdown reception.
No.
Yes, on that is plus 450.
No,
that's bad value.
No, yeah, it is.
Okay. How about either Joe Mixon or Cam Akers, lead tailbacks for the two teams, to have over 99.5 rushing yards? Yes is plus 150.
I'd have to say, since I went with the under, I would definitely have to have him go under, go over the 99.5 yards. Because you want to work the clock when you have the under, you want to work the clock.
Yeah.
So I would be happy with both of them what they both did, but I just think the.
So if you had to pick one, this is not part of the bet. I'm just curious. If you had to pick Mixon or Akers to go over 100,
I think I'll pick
which you like?
Akers.
You think so?
Yep.
I mean, so one of the things is that there's a bunch of different considerations. Cincy is going to split carries between Pirine and Mixon.
Yep.
So he's going to be less likely to get the bulk of the carries.
Right.
Akers, he's still a little bit nicked up, I think, but he's looked pretty good so far.
And you want that clock to keep moving, especially when you're serious about the under. Okay, what's next?
Okay, so now you've got the under on the overall total of 48.5.
Yep.
Joe Burrow plus Stafford, the two quarterbacks together, over 4.5 combined passing TDs.
Over 4.5.
So unless you believe it's going to go absolutely crazy, it's probably one throws at least 3.
Yeah, I'd say no. I like the under.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Okay. And how about two quarterbacks to combine for over 599.5 passing yards?
Combined?
Yes. Modern NFL, that sounds like a lot. It's really not.
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
You think under?
Under.
Okay. All right. Everything's under. Right? Mike the Mailman, not looking for a high-scoring big game. By the way, I never understand the logic of when you can and can't say like Super Bowl versus big game.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
That's like I don't know. It seems like the NFL is. I mean, look, nobody cares about this, but you see these commercials and they say like, "Oh, make sure you get your potato chips for the big game."
Yeah, what's that about?
It's like, guys, NFL. I think you make enough money. You don't have to license people being able to say the Super. Everyone knows what the Super Bowl is. It's kind of ridiculous.
Silly.
The NFL did not become a multi-billion-dollar industry by giving away anything.
That's true.
Really,
that's right.
They make you pay full freight for preseason games, for God's sakes, which is like some of the worst football on earth. I would rather watch these USFL games that are coming up,
which is coming in April.
Yeah. Have you seen them? It's that's going to be interesting. They keep trying to make spring football work.
I know it's like the third run around, isn't it? A third or fourth time, but different initials, but they're trying to go.
You, Mike, probably have way better recollection of the first USFL time around than I do. I mean, like I remember it. Like, in fact, the biggest thing I remember from the old school USFL is that there were a couple of guys who ended up in the NFL who came over from there. And I was too young. I didn't really understand what was going on with it. I didn't understand this difference between like different leagues and different contracts and all of that. Yeah. But like Steve Young and Reggie White and Jim Kelly, Herschel Walker, those are like the first 4 who come to my mind is the biggest names from the USFL who signed them because they were paying enormous contracts
They were,
at that time. You could make more money potentially as a top 5 player in the USFL
Wow.
as a rookie than you could in the NFL.
Wow. Maybe that's why it collapsed.
Well, so there's actually a really good 30 for 30 about it called Pony. No. Pony Excess is the SMU one. God, I can't remember what the name of the USFL one is, but if you ever want to watch it, just Google 30 for 30 USFL. Basically, the thesis of the film, and I had heard this before, way before it became a politically heated subject, is that it was Trump's fault, actually.
Okay.
Because he bought the New Jersey franchise.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And I guess the backstory was that he badly wanted to own an NFL team.
Oh, so
in fact, if you remember, Pagula beat him out in the bidding war for the Bills.
That's right.
So if you hate that Trump was president, like, I guess it's Terry Pagula's fault.
Yeah, I guess.
Sorry about that. So Trump was trying to backdoor his way into the NFL by buying the New Jersey USFL franchise.
Yeah.
He kind of bullied the other owners to move off a model that was working for them, which was playing in the spring and going head-to-head with the NFL as a fall league, and then suing the NFL for antitrust.
Wow.
And it's a funny story. Like, they won the antitrust suit, but they only got like a $1 judgment against the NFL, and the legal costs and everything, and then the lost market share of moving out of the spring, it just bankrupted the league. So the prevailing theory is that Trump tanked the USFL, and now it's kind of coming back as the latest iteration of spring football.
Aren't you glad we're not at that level to buy teams? We don't have to worry about it.
Actually, yes.
Yeah, I'm not. We're good. We're good without doing any of that stuff.
Financial security is one thing, but more money, more problems. Okay. By the way, you are digressing like a pro on this show. This is what happens when Goon and I do the show. We just go all over the place. You're rolling with the punches. Matt Stafford alone has his own prop bet. Now, you do not like the 2 quarterbacks to combine for 600 or more passing yards.
Yep.
Matt Stafford's got one here for over 375 passing yards and 375 or more passing yards. So a minimum 375 in the air and a minimum 3 TDs together. That's plus 1,000 if he does it.
Yeah, I don't like that one. I don't like that at all.
Even like just take a flyer on that,
No. No.
Okay. All right. This is what you say. Very prudent, right?
Yeah, that's right. You got to be disciplined when you do something.
Disciplined. Yes.
That's the key.
The prop bets will kill the discipline. I am convinced.
There's so many of them, like 100, whatever.
Do you like that number any better for Joe Burrow at plus 1,100?
No. I do not.
Yeah. I don't know. This is great. I mean, again, I understand defense is not what it once was. These are like 2 teams that were good enough to beat some really good competition to get into the Super Bowl. To imagine them giving up 400 yards and 3 passing touchdowns is brutal.
Yeah, that's a lot. You're right.
Okay, let me see if we got any more here for you, Mike. Okay. We talked about the coin toss, even money.
Yeah.
It's not a surprise.
They always have like, who's going to score the first point? Is it going to be a field goal? Is it going to be a touchdown? Or whatever they.
Okay, so give me touchdown or field goal. The first points come via
field goal.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, they have good field goal.
Yep, I think so.
Yep.
Okay, so I'll give you a couple more.
Okay.
I'm going to give you 4 players, 5 players,
all right,
to score a touchdown and the odds for each.
Okay.
I want you to tell me which one you like best. Okay. So on the Rams, we've got Cooper Kupp score a touchdown at minus 200. Cam Akers, who you like to go over 100 yards rushing, to score a touchdown at minus 110. Or Odell to score at plus 137. That's on the Rams side.
Right.
And then for the Bengals, you've got Mixon, who you don't like to eclipse the 100 yards, to score at plus 130 or Jamar Chase at plus 115.
I'm going to go with Cam. I like Cam. He's got to run it like from 7 yards out. He's got to run it in. 3rd down, 7. They're going to expect a pass. He's got to run it.
Ooh, I like that.
This is
Okay.
great.
Yeah, you know what? In those mid-range goal-to-go situations,
Yep.
He's got the speed and shiftiness that you can feel good about giving him the ball, assuming that you're going to spread the defense out a little bit because they're going to be looking for Stafford to be the guy, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. I like it. Team totals. I got the Bengals over-under at 22.5 and the Rams at 26.5.
Both under.
Both under.
Low scoring game. Yeah.
Which you like better there?
I think the Bengals. I like that better than the Rams.
So you like the Bengals under 22.5.
Yeah.
You think that Cincy is not gonna score a lot of points.
Right.
Low scoring game in general. You like the Rams plus 4.5.
Yep.
Or minus 4.5.
Yep.
And you like Cincy to score fewer than 23 points.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, this was fun.
See what happens. That's what makes the Super Bowl fun. Or the big game. It makes the big game fun.
We're gonna live dangerously and call it the Super Bowl, and it will be fun. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure that the Goon and Ironhead will have plenty more to say about that and everything else in the world of Pittsburgh, Philly, and most importantly, Penn State sports. We here in Happy Valley are hoping that the weather is going to clear up by tomorrow night because we've got the big once-a-year spectacle of Penn State wrestling in the Bryce Jordan Center. Always awesome. They really do a great job with that.
Oh, yeah.
Got the Buckeyes coming in here for that meet. So Ironhead, I'm sure we'll have something to say about that. You can hear him call the match on the Penn State Sports Network via your local radio affiliate or go to gopsusports.com if you're a wrestling fan of any stripe, but especially a Nittany Lion. No better way to hear those matches called than to hear the Ironhead bring them to you.
He's the best at that.
Vivid detail. He is the best.
Definitely.
And so both guys will be back next week. And always, you can catch the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show right here from State College's Quaker Steak and Lube for the beloved campus icon himself, Mike the Mailman. I'm Chris Bucanani, wishing you all a great, happy weekend. Take care of yourselves and each other. We are.
Best 2 out of 3.
It's one fantastic ride. The turbocharged, tech-inspired new Kia Forte.
There's always something happening at Quaker Steak and Lube. From live music to exciting new flavors, meet your friends and refuel at your local Quaker Steak and Lube today. Can't slow down? Then order online. Pick up and get back on the road. Find us at thelube.com.
He's not getting that car in there.
No, sir.
Hey, look at these two troublemakers.
Johnny, how are you?
Wicked car. Is that new?
Yeah, it's a Sonata. Let me park it.
Oh, you're not fitting your car in there.
Chris, stop being a smarty pants, all right? Look who's got Smart Park. Even Bruiser can park it. Just hit the clicker. I can park it anywhere.
Beaver Stadium?
Parked it.
Even the Jordan Center?
Parked it.
Even Medler Field?
Even Bruiser parked it.
Hey, you can't park there.
He's got Smart Park.
Wicked smart.
Blaze Alexander Hyundai. It's wicked smart.